You know, sometimes all you need is a word of encouragement or a reminder to keep you going in the direction that you had set out. As the year comes to an end, I thought it would be a good idea to reflect on the dreams and goals that we had set out throughout our life. Because if there's one thing about me, I am a dreamer. And in dreamer spirit, it's not only my job to make sure your dreams stay alive and well, but that you are reminded of their purpose. Hey y'all, it's your girl Abby and I'm back with another video. I just want to say thank you for being here and clicking on this video, because today we are going to get straight into the topic of being your best self and how we can do that by setting these intentions. Now, it is December. I don't know about you guys, but this year has been flying by. Like the last time I remember, it was New Year's and we were celebrating 2023. And even just saying 2023 sounds crazy. Like in my head, I'm still 17. In my head, I'm still in 2012. You know what I mean? So the year is flying, and I do not want 2024 to be another year where we make a list of all the things that we're going to do and end up doing maybe one thing on the list for the first month of the year. Like, no, 2024 needs to be a year where we actually set intentions and set goals and actually start to make moves towards them, so that it's not a year of just ideas, but actualizing those ideas. And so if this is something that you are interested in, definitely stick around. But before we get into that, let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video. Thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of engaging classes taught by world-class creatives who have launched their own lucrative side incomes. The thing that I love most about Skillshare is their learn by doing approach, because in my opinion, the best way to learn is by actually doing and then sharing, which you can also do after completing a project or task. There is something for everyone. With a wide range of topics, you can find the creative interest that calls to you. And not to mention, you can work at your own pace. And so regardless of what your schedule looks like, you can make 2024 the year of side hustle. Skillshare is where creative professionals learn everything they need to go from passion to paycheck. I use Skillshare to learn about content creation, from the editing process to graphic design. I found that Skillshare gave me the tools I needed to bring my ideas to life. Currently, I'm taking the class Creating Your Dream Career by Holly M. Murchison. This amazing class has brought so much insight into the process of bringing your ideas to life. I learned that developing a creative career is about unpacking your past so that you can unlock your future. And so if you want to unlock your creativity and learn something new, the first 500 people to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Now, let's get back into the video. I have always been a kid that dreamt really big and had this creative imagination of all the things that I wanted to be, especially in my younger years. I was definitely that kid that wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a cardiologist. I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to be a pastry chef. I wanted to be in theater at one point. I was like, I need to be on the stage. The stage needs me. I was definitely that kid that, like, I don't know, I just always believed that anything was possible. And I think a lot of us can kind of relate to that. In our childhood, for some reason, our dreams seem more attainable, and like the world is our oyster, that any opportunity is possible, right? And I remember getting into my teenage years towards high school, and that was kind of where everything kind of shifted for me. And I didn't really have the same hope and belief that I did when I was younger. I didn't feel like anything was possible. I definitely felt very boxed in, and I felt like there was a certain path that I had to go down or else I wouldn't achieve success in any way. And I think having that kind of pressure and very rigid structure for how your life is supposed to be and how it's supposed to go can sometimes harp on our dreamer spirit, harp on that bit inside of us that is not afraid to do what is uncommon. And so there was this one quote that I read. I was a Tumblr girl back in high school. Like, I was on Tumblr all the time, and I remember coming across this quote that really did shift my perspective and my understanding of like life. And I wanted to share that quote with you guys here. The quote is, I put it in this little frame because I'm corny and I like to do cute things like this. But yeah, the quote that really changed my perspective and my mindset was this one. There is so much life left to live and so much love left to give. I'm going to read that again because we have to actually take it in. There is so much life left to live and so much love left to give. When I read this, it just put everything into perspective, because sometimes we go through life and we think that we don't have enough time, or that we don't have the talents, or we don't have the skills to do the things that we think of or that we imagine or that we dream of. And with this quote, it just kind of shifts our perspective of like, no, there is so much life left to live. There is so much ahead of you. Don't hold yourself back and cut yourself short of the opportunities that life has because you don't think you have enough talent, or you don't think you have enough time to learn a new skill, or, pivot in a new direction. You have enough time. There is so much life left to live. And then on the contrary, there is also so much love left to give. I know for me, when I was in high school, I just started, I think I was just a bit of a rebel. And so I would get myself in a lot of situations where my heart would be broken. And when I read this quote, I was like, yeah, there is so much love left to give. Like, even when you're heartbroken, even when you are let down, when you're at your wit's end, there is still something within you that you can give. You still have a little crumb of love left to give. Even when you feel like you have nothing, even when you feel like there is not enough time, shift your perspective and understand that, yeah, there is. There's still that bit of love within you that you can give. There's still time. If you focus and you dedicate and you go and step forward without fear, there is still life left to live, and there is still love left to give. And honestly, this is kind of where the title of, or not the title of my channel, but like, if you go on my Instagram and see my bio, like there's love and life there. And on my YouTube, if you go in the banner, like the words that kind of resonate with me and that I kind of put in the title of all my stuff is love and life, because this is something that motivates me and keeps me going. There is so much life left to live and so much life. There is so much life left to live and so much love left to give. I don't even know where the fear comes from, but for some reason we have this fear of like trying something new and stepping into new territory when we don't even know what the future holds. Like, the future is so indefinite that it takes a willingness and it takes a bravery and a courage to venture into the unknown to see what could be there. And we have to be willing to do that even when we feel empty, even when we feel like we have nothing left to give, when our love bucket is 50%, you know what I mean? 30%, when we feel like we have nothing else to give, we have to be willing to give that last push or that little ounce of whatever it is we have left. Be willing to put that forward, be willing to give that and see where it leads you and see where it takes you, because I don't know, I just believe that that is the determining factor of success in my eyes. Like, success is how you go about a situation. I don't think you have to be the smartest person, the most creative person, the most talented person to be successful or, to live a happy life, whatever it is. But I think it's more so like in your spirit, in your mindset of like, how willing are you? Know that in any situation, you still have more to give. You still have more to offer. There is still something within you. And with that mindset, you'll be able to move in every situation and every new direction that you go in with a bit of faith, with a bit of courage, and the will to push forward. I remember that, that movie, Princess and the Frog? I love that movie so much because there was a scene in there where Tiana, she all she wanted was to open a restaurant of her own, and then by the end of the movie she ends up doing it and like makes it this beautiful place that she envisioned her whole life and that I think her dad wanted her to have. And so I really resonated with that movie because I was like, that is me. Like, this is one of my dreams. Like, I want to have my own restaurant and serve people and give them all these yummy food. Like, That is what I'm talking about when I talk about like the dreamer spirit that exists within us as children. Like we have to keep that alive. We have to keep that spirit going because that is what leads us to try new things. That is what leads us to actually make our dreams come true. Like if we don't have that belief within us, where do we get it from? No one is going to bring that belief and bring that faith or bring that courage and plant it within us. We have to be the ones to keep it alive. And I think in childhood, it's so easy to keep alive because that's just the nature of a child, to be curious and to wander and to like, just get excited about the little things. But for some reason, as we get older into our adulthood, like I guess reality kind of hits and our dreams take the back burner. But I feel like coming into this new year, if we set these intentions to, keep that dreamer spirit alive, we can actually make at least one of our dreams come true, or at least start to embark on that journey towards making an idea, a dream, a passion that we've had, making that come into fruition or starting that process. And so the first intention that we can set is knowing and believing that there is so much life ahead of you and that there is so much love left for you to give. Life is not over. If you are here watching this video, you are breathing, you are feeling, you are hearing. What does that mean? That means that you are alive. And so by default, there is life left to live. By default, if you dig a little bit deeper, if you dig a little bit deeper, by default, there is love left to give. Right? And why that's so important to know, like why that love part is so important is because without love, we really can't do anything. Love is what sparks passion. You gotta love something. You gotta love something to be passionate about it. You gotta love your life. You gotta love the world, whatever. You gotta have love to bring anything into fruition. Love is that all-encompassing emotion. And so and also love is what guides us as human beings. We are creatures that yearn for love. And so we have to know that love aspect, nothing is possible without that love aspect. And so even when you are embarking on your journey of passion and you feel like, oh, I don't even like this thing anymore. Today was a really rough day. I don't even like this thing anymore. I'm living in my dream, but like, I don't even like it anymore. Understand that underneath those emotions, which are completely normal to feel, under those emotions, there's still a little bit of love. Right? There's still a little bit of something. There's still that passion there. You know why you're doing this. Underneath it all, there is love. Even when you're heartbroken, like, in times when you're literally heartbroken, just think about it. It's like, are you really about to like call it quits on life? Are you really about to call it quits on relationships or call it quits on, I don't know, whatever it is that requires an enormous amount of your love? Are you really going to do that? No, you're not, because there's still love left to give. Even when we're heartbroken, just by default of being a human being, there is still love left to live. There is still love left to give. I'm getting confused with these words because it's like life, love, left, give, but you guys get the point. Like life and love. Those are the two things, and you have them within you, and you need to bring them into 2024 because, man, not only do you need it, but everybody around you needs it as well. So remember to keep that life and to keep that love in the back of your pocket, because you are going to need it to bring all your dreams and all your ambitions into life in this new year, 2024. We're going to be checking up on you, and we're going to be checking to make sure that you have the love and that you have the life and that you didn't give up by January 29. Okay? I'll be back. I will be back to check on you. Trust me. And I'm not going to be nice when I do it. If I check up on you and you have given up on life by January 29 and you have given up on love by January 29, we're going to have a really big bone to pick. And I know I look sweet and I know I sound nice, but there's a different side to me, okay? So you better make sure that you keep it in the back of your pocket, or else I'm coming for you. Anyways, let's move on to the second intention. Okay, so the second intention that we are going to set is kind of on the same lines, but there is this quote that has stuck with me for so many years, and I'm going to read it for you guys because it just, I don't know, it just inspires hope in me, and I thought that it would do the same thing for you. So I'm going to read it. It's called To Dream the Impossible Dream. And I think that's the title of the poem. I don't know who wrote it, but if I do, I'll write it down. And okay, so the poem goes like this. To fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, the impossible dream. Okay, I'm gonna read it again. Because I love it. I'm gonna read it again. Okay. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with the unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, the impossible dream. Now, why I literally love this poem, this passage, whatever it is because it literally illustrates the idea that I'm trying to get across of like the impossible dream, in quotations, what we think is impossible, what we think is unattainable. It's not that it's actually unattainable. It's not that it's actually impossible. It's that it takes the impossible to get there. It takes fighting through the unbearable sorrow to get to the point where you're filled with love, where you're renewed. It takes the bravery of fighting the unbeatable foe, right? The unbeatable foe. It takes that bravery of saying, yeah, I'm going to face this demon. Yeah, I'm going to face this challenge. That is what it takes to bring into fruition that impossible dream. And so the impossible dream isn't that it's actually impossible. It's that what it takes to get there, we see it as impossible. We think that fighting the unbearable foe is unbearable, right? Keyword there, unbearable. But it takes that bravery to do that. To run where the brave dare not go. It means to go where majority of people wouldn't go, to where majority of people would be filled with fear, right? But it takes that bravery to go into uncharted area, right? And in that uncharted area comes your bravery and comes the fruits of that bravery. And so it isn't that it's impossible, but it's that the actions that lead to it, we see as impossible, or we see as unbearable, we see as unbeatable. And I just think it's kind of like ironic how it says it, how it kind of illustrates this. It's kind of ironic because it's like, to bear the unbearable sorrow. Sometimes we think that things are too heavy. Sometimes we think that the heartbreak is too much. Like we can't get through it. It's unbearable. It's gruesome. It's rough. But to actually bear it, but to actually face it, that is what makes the impossible dream possible. Bearing the unbearable, fighting the unbeatable, right? These are all in quotations. It's kind of ironic how it's written. The unbeatable, the unbearable, where the brave dare not go. Even in the unbearable, there is something that you can do. Even in the sorrow even in the sorrow that's deeper than anything you felt, you can face it. Right? And so it's just kind of keeping this idea in the back of our pocket of like, nothing is unbearable. Nothing is too much. Nothing is more than what you can handle. If you are faced with it, and if it is something that is, that you currently dealing with, you can beat it. You can fight it. You can bear it. What seems unbearable is only unbearable until you bear it. Right? It's only unbearable until you bear it, until you work through it. But it takes that bravery. It takes that fearlessness to take that step forward in what seems unbearable. And I think that's something that we need to carry into this new year, right? We don't want this year to just be a repeat of 2023, a repeat of what we've been doing. All of us have dreams and ambitions. All of us have things that we want to change and that we want to bring into fruition. But it takes that willingness to fight that unbearable foe to get to that point, to get through the unbearable. When you're starting something new, get through that unbearable phase where it's just gruesome, where it's just pulling at you, where it just seems hopeless and it's all for nothing. Get through that. Fight through that. So that you can get to the point where it all comes together, or when it starts to come together. It takes that fighting. You got to get through the muck. You got to get through the muck, right? There's no way to cheat it. There's no cheat code to this. You got to get through the muck. And so I hope that we keep these two quotes in the back pocket of, our mind, I guess you could say, because this year is going to be a year of bringing our dreams and our ambitions and the things that we have been thinking about for years. It is the year of starting to bring those things into fruition. I don't want to sit here and be like, this is the year for you and you're going to do everything you think of. No, this is the year that you're going to start. This is not the year that everything is going to come into fruition. No, let's be realistic. This is the year that you're going to start. And you might not see the fruits of the labor that you're putting in now. You know what? In your mind, don't even think about the fruits. This is the year that you start. It's not the year that everything's going to blossom and things are going to blow up for you. No, this is the year that you are going to start to plant seeds. And the planting seed process is gruesome. It's fighting that unbearable foe. It's getting through what seems mucky and dirty and ugh. But this is the year that you're going to start to do that. Because let me tell you something. If you never start, nothing will ever be produced. I heard someone say this quote, another quote that we're going to add, was the best time to start was 10 years ago. But the next best time to start is now. And so, hello, as the year changes and as we get into another year, the next best time is now. Yeah, you could have started 10 years ago. Yeah, you could have started 5 years ago. But now is the next best time because you're going to look back 5 years from now, 10 years from now and say, thank you. Thank you for starting. Because if I never started, then I wouldn't have what I have now. And so this is the year of starting, and understand that even when you have nothing left to give, you have a little something. Even when you feel like this is the end, it's not. So go into the year and set your intentions, write down the things that you want to start, and just fill yourself with hope and fill yourself with love and life and the energy that you need to kind of push through the muck that you are inevitably going to go through in this year. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. Definitely give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Comment your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe for future content. Thank you guys again and wishing you all the best in this new year. I'll probably see you guys before the end of this year, but bye for now. I love you guys.